Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Exercise is Bullshit. For those of you who are just joining us for the first time, bullshit stands for bodybuilding utilizing logical lifting and scientific heuristics to inform training. I am joined by one of my favorite people in the home gym space today, Kinzi from KPEX Home Gym Lab. Yeah, look at those guns. Love it.
How to
Kinzi
let
and
the people know I lift.
Of course, of course. I'm honestly not sure like what the mix is of people who listen to versus actually see. But if you're listening and you want to see Kinzi's guns, rewind this and go back to the Spotify video, and you can check them out. But Kinzi and I met a couple years ago at Home Gym Con, and then I've been following her content ever since. It's definitely worth a follow. She does gym reviews. She posts her workouts. She posts her nutrition. We'll talk about your coaching and everything that you do in person as well. But just was super excited to see you again this year. Obviously, the kind of vibes at Home Gym Con are just awesome. So it was great to connect with you, and I just had to have you on. So I really appreciate you joining me today. So thank you so much.
I am happy to be here. I always love the podcasting.
Yeah. So Kinzi, why don't you tell us just a little bit about your background? Just kind of the big, 5 minutes or less
Yeah, kind of
overview.
overall.
Yeah. How'd you get into fitness? Specifically, like how did you get into the home gym space? Because it's such a eclectic group of weirdos that I love, but it really is just like an eclectic
Yes.
group for
True.
anyone who's never been to like a home gym conference. Or been into the space. I think most people's
So true.
exposure, with home gym stuff is like they know garage gym reviews, like they know Coop, but they don't know how
Yeah.
deep the rabbit hole goes. So, how did you kind of
Oh,
get
yeah.
into this space and everything? Why don't you just take it from there?
All right. Well, it started, I had my daughter 11 years ago. And when you have a baby, a lot of times you get overweight. And so that happened to me. It actually wasn't while I was pregnant. I actually stayed a decent weight, but after I had her, she was a really hard baby. And I never like really babysat kids when I was younger. So like, and I'd been around babies. So it was just a huge like shock for me. Um, and it was really hard on me. So basically, I gained a whole bunch of weight, like staying home with her the first 6 months after I had her. And then I didn't I was so focused on her that, like, I didn't even realize, like, what I looked like, what I felt like. It's just, like, a very weird feeling. And one day, I went to put some jeans on, and they're jeans that I'd always had for, like, my whole like, literally my whole adult life at that point, like, through high school, I had these jeans that I always wore. Went to put my leg into the jeans, and I couldn't even get, like, my calf in the jeans. Like, I was like, "Did these shrink?" Like, that was my first
That's the
thought,
first thought every
and
time. These must have shrank.
yeah,
Yeah.
and then, like, I remember my mirror in the bathroom only really showed, like, chest up, and I didn't have a full body mirror. Uh, so I just remember being like, "I'm gonna weigh myself and see, like, how much I weigh," and I remember I stepped on the scale, and I was, like, right over 200 pounds, and I'm a 5'2"
I
female,
was
so,
just
I
gonna
mean,
say for people that don't have
that's
reference, yeah, Kinzi's pretty small.
yes. Yeah, yeah, so being a little over 200 pounds, I was, like, so like, I can't even explain and describe the feelings that I had. It was disappointment, sad. I didn't even I was like, "How did I not realize that I was this big?" You know? But I was just so focused. I didn't even leave the house the first 6 months after I had my daughter 'cause she was a really hard baby. She just constantly cried. So I just, like, really, like, tuned out of myself, and I was just so involved with her. And so, yeah, this is the first time I had, like, this realization of, like, "Oh my gosh, like, who am I? What is going on?" Like, it was just so it was such an out of body experience because in high school, I'd always played sports. I played softball, basketball, was very active, so I had never even been close to 200 pounds. I think I usually sat around, like, 150. So I was just, like, so appalled. But I remember, like, feeling I kinda, like, wallowed in my sorrows for a little bit, and then I remember, like, that day, like, I think the true Kinsey came out. This is like, I always reference this moment because I was like, "You know what? I don't," and this is not a knock at stay-at-home moms or anything, but I just remember thinking, like, "I don't wanna be the stay-at-home mom that just, like, gives up on herself and, like, doesn't have a personality outside of her kid and, like, you know, just is okay with being overweight and inactive and all that." Like, I just remember thinking that. And I was like, okay, we're going to do something about it. I knew nothing about nutrition or exercise at this point. Nothing.
Well, that's awesome. So you had no
Other
background
than
in like fitness
no
besides
background.
just like being in
No,
sports and stuff as you were growing.
exactly. And so it's so funny to think back on my journey because I tried all the fad diets on the internet way back when, a decade ago, the military diet was popular. And that was the diet where you could have ice cream. So essentially, it was just a 1,200 calorie diet. It was like the weirdest things too. I think for dinner was like 2 hot dogs without a bun, broccoli, and then you get a scoop of ice cream after, whatever. So I tried that and I actually did lose weight. But at the time, I didn't know about calories. I just was like, hey, 2 hot dogs and broccoli. That sounds good to me. So did that for a while. Then I got stuck in this pyramid scheme with I can't remember what the nutrition company is, but they're still rocking this like to this day.
There's
But it
so
was like
many.
there's so many. You would eat like, you'd have a shake in the morning, shake at lunch, and then you'd have kind of whatever you want for dinner.
So like
Just had to be like protein.
Shakeology
Yeah,
or
yeah, it was something like
something
that.
like
I can't
that.
remember.
I think I know
Yeah,
the
it was
one.
something
They
like
were
that.
in they used to sponsor the Magic. I think like who sponsors what do I
Yeah, I
know?
got into some weird like pyramid scheme where I was trying to sell it. And again, didn't know nothing about calories. Like at this point, I was starting to look up like nutrition and calories. And so, long story short, I finally got into counting calories. I finally found if it fits your macros and it
Amway.
started like,
Does that sound right?
oh, okay.
Maybe.
Yeah, I think it did start with an A.
Okay.
Does that
Maybe
start with
that's
an A?
yeah, Amway. Maybe. It
Is it
doesn't matter. Keep
AM?
going on. Yeah,
Okay, it
AMW.
don't matter. I just fell into some of that bullshit. I don't know. Um, all I know is I was drinking nasty shakes 2 times a day and then whatever.
Yeah.
So I did lose a little bit of weight doing that, but I was like, this is miserable. And I just kept thinking there has to be a better way. I was also going to the gym, and like any new goer to the gym, you're too scared to leave the cardio equipment. So I remember I was like jogging on the treadmill. I remember getting off the treadmill and my knees hurt and my hips hurt. And I was just like, damn, I'm like, I'm fat. Like, this
Yeah.
should
Well,
not,
especially if you were
this
200
should,
pounds. Yeah.
yeah, and so I was like, "This should not feel this terrible," and it does, and I just remember thinking there has to be a better way. So, I found if it fits your macros, and all of a sudden, I just was obsessed with it. I would stay up till 3 a.m., and this is kinda how I am to this day. If I find something that I'm interested in, I have to know everything about it. So, I just stay up and I'm reading about calories and how many calories are in a gram of protein, all that information, and I'm just eating it up. I'm like, okay, this makes sense.
No pun
Like, I
intended.
get it. Yeah, 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 literally. I'm like, this makes sense. Like, this is how it should be. So then I started being more creative with my meals, being able to add in things that I did like to eat, and the rest is history. I lost, I think, 50 pounds. That 50 pounds did take me like a year and a half. So this is a year and a half's worth of time, like trying to figure out the gym, trying to figure out macros. Well, I started powerlifting first, and I was actually like really good at it. When I was 23, so after a year of training, I was able to break a couple national records for bench press
Wow.
and a deadlift. They're like chump numbers now because
I bet. Yeah. Yeah.
a decade of time, and but at the time, I was like, okay. And I think at 23, you're still in the juniors or whatever. So I broke a bunch of like juniors records. Then I started like strongman training, bulged a couple discs in my back. And then I switched over to bodybuilding.
Okay. Nice.
So just so I could not have to deadlift like every other day to stay relevant. And so, um, that kind of got me into personal training because I was like, okay, like I want to help people do the same thing that I just did, and I want to like give them good information. So I was working at like a big box gym for a long time, and I was contracted, so I got to make a majority of the money, and I just had to pay kind of the owner of the gym whatever monthly. And then I moved and I tried to get a job at Vasa or EOS. I was kind of shopping around for a
Where are
job, and
you
I was like,
again? Remind me, because I lived in
so
Utah
I'm
for a
in
while.
Layton, Utah.
Well, you are in Utah. Okay, nice. Yeah,
Yep.
I lived
Yep. So
in
just right
Draper for
outside
a
of Salt
while.
Lake.
Nice.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's where Force USA is in Draper.
Well, I had no idea. Do you ever go, not to interrupt your flow here, because this is super
No,
interesting.
you're
I
good.
have a bunch of questions, but do you ever go to the refinery? Are you familiar with the refinery?
Yeah. So when I was doing my bodybuilding show, which we'll get there, I would go to the refinery once a week because
That's so
me and my
funny.
buddies were prepping together. And so we'd all kind of have like a little family workout and we
I wonder
go
if
once
we
a week.
ever cross paths, because I used to, like, for 18 months, I worked out there 3 or 4 times a week.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I still go here and there, but which I'll probably go more often because I'm starting my bodybuilding prep again. But anyways, so then that leads me into the bodybuilding portion. After I, well, no, sorry, I left off at the gyms. So I tried to get a job at Voss and EOS, and they pay personal trainers terrible, terrible. I think at the time they wanted to give me like $10 a session or something, and
Jeez. For an hour
and yeah,
session?
and then no, they're 30-minute
30
sessions,
minutes,
so
but
$20
still,
an hour,
still.
which 5, 6 years ago, like, where I was at, it wasn't terrible, but it just, for me, like, wasn't quite good enough. So I was like, "Okay, like, how" so then I started online trading, and this is when COVID happened, and so I was making tons of money on online trading. Tons of money. Like, more than I could even fathom. I was like, I don't even like,
That's
I was
awesome.
like, um and that's the last time I made that much money. No, just
Yeah.
kidding. But no, I was just making really good money, but I hated it. I hated it because it's a lot less rewarding than getting to see your clients like have wins, like PRs in the gym and actually talk to them and check in on their diet and like because I did weekly phone calls and stuff. It's
So
just
this
not
was
the
just
same.
like programming for people, like traditional online training when people think of that, like
Yep,
write a program,
traditional.
check in, got it.
Yep. And so then I actually just I got like super I mean a lot of people probably struggled with mental health during COVID, but I really struggled because, I wasn't personal training in person. I was staying home. That's when I started building out my home gym. The home gym started out with literally wooden 4x4s, and I drilled 1-inch holes individually through 4 uprights. So I had a 4x4 squat rack made out of wood. And that thing was sick. Okay. I had a pulley system. So I had a center lat pull down that I built. I just made it happen. And then I had like a really cheap wall mounted cable tower, I think, that I ended up getting, and a treadmill. That's all I had in my home gym, and cement weight plates or whatever people were making. I had a little bit of everything, whatever I could find at DI and some cement weight plates. So that's where it started. And then basically over the years, that slowly transformed into a little bit better equipment because I started flipping equipment and stuff. And then I just thought to myself, what if I invest a little bit of money to make like my garage gym and then I can train clients here? And then I can train clients in person and, like, have that connection again? So then I got dumbbells and a really cheap Amazon power rack, but, I mean, I had some good sessions 'cause I had a whole garage to myself, and so there's, like, lots of room for, like, a lot of different athletic movements, so we just did, like, whatever we could. Like, I was making movements up at that point because I just had a lot of space, not a lot of machines or equipment. So that's where it started. And then, like, I slowly, like, I think my first big girl purchase was the Fringe Sport Dane 1.0. And then I got the Force USA leg press. And I did a review on both of those. And that's how I fell into reviewing.
Uh,
And I actually did like really, like, my views were pretty decent. And I showed people how to convert the Dane 1.0 because it has 1-to-1 ratio on the pulleys. I made a video showing people how to convert it to a 2-to-1 ratio because a lot of people were complaining about the starting weight of the pulleys. And that like did really, really well. And that's kind of where it started. And so I fell into this, like you said, I fell into the rabbit hole
yeah.
and got sucked in. And so now I have more equipment than I know what to do with. And I'm very blessed and happy and love it.
That's awesome. So you're training clients full time. Is that still your main job, or is it
Um,
kind of a split between
so
the two?
I have like I mean, I have like 4 businesses basically.
Okay.
I have like I call them side quests. I don't like to call them
Yeah. Okay.
businesses. I
There you
call
go.
them side quests. Businesses just sounds way too serious.
Yeah.
But I have like 4 side quests. So my main job I'd say is personal training, but I really only like personal train like 15 to 20 hours a week. Then I do like my reviews, and then I sell a bunch of 3D printed stuff for the home gym. I have an
Cool. Like
Etsy.
handles and
I
things
don't
like that?
really, yeah, yeah, handles. I don't really broadcast it, but I do like extension handles for the Temple of Gains multi-flight. I
Okay.
have, I don't know if you see that
Yeah,
behind
yeah,
me.
yeah. Yep.
So custom handles for that. And then I do like custom handles for lever arms, and like the lever arm handles have 3/4 inch rods all the way through the middle. So they're, plenty strong. Yeah, so I just do a bunch of random stuff on my Etsy, and the dragonfly extension handles are doing really, really well.
Sweet.
So those are probably like my best seller because
Are you going to
everyone,
have a booth at Home Gym Con one of these years?
I don't think so.
Just bring a backpack full of stuff and start selling
Yeah,
it.
just selfishly, I want to walk
No,
around
I
and
get it.
see stuff. So I don't think I don't think, I mean, never say never, but I don't want to booth.
You could always do like what Eric did this year. So for those of you who aren't familiar, I partner with Temple of Gains every year to be a part of their booth at Home Gym Con. Yoni's a good friend of mine. We've known each other for I guess almost 3 years now, like basically since he first started Temple of Gains. And this year we had Eric Janicki, who's a IFBB pro, sells torque. For those of you who are watching, you can see the torque pad that's behind Kinzi there. So he sells the platforms. He sells like a range of motion back pad, and then he's got these really cool handles, these D handles that he sells as well. You could potentially team up with somebody like that, like just have a little
Yeah.
mini booth within a booth kind of thing.
You'd be surprised though how, what's the word? Like there's a small 3D print space in the home, like in the home gym community, and they're not messing around. They're pretty cutthroat. They're like, that's my idea.
Why
And
that?
it's like, okay.
Yeah. Did you patent it, Brian?
Chill. It's plastic,
Yeah.
okay? It's plastic.
That's funny.
Remember that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
Not
no, I
to
try not to step on any toes like that. I really try to come up with, my own stuff, and but it is hard because there's only so many 3D print things that you can do.
well, and ideas and stuff. Yeah. I mean, my buddies, I don't know if you met my friends, Dave and Ty, that came with me to the conference this year. But we've been the last 2 years as well. And I'm not going to name the name of it because I don't want to throw shade at anybody, but there was a company that made like 3D printed handles, and they were like $150 for one handle.
Yikes.
And it was like, this is plastic, bro.
Yikes.
Like, I get it. I mean, you want
Yeah.
to make money. I want to support your small business, but like, it's plastic. Come on. At the end of the day. So yeah, I mean, I'd say undercut them and steal all the business, but that's just me. Okay. So you're doing the personal training. What
Yeah.
is kind of I guess, give me the vision. Like, what is the YouTube channel about? You mentioned how you started just reviewing stuff that sounded like it was just kind of like you put some stuff together and you just wanted to share it. Did you think that would take off? What is kind of your plan with the KPEX as far as like the review channel goes? Do you want to grow it into other things? Like, what's kind of your vision there?
So I never really planned on it like taking off. It definitely started more as a hobby. And the review space is kind of cutthroat too because everyone assumes that you are trying to push products for affiliate links and stuff. And it's so funny because it's like if you guys knew, I'm like, if you buy this budget machine, I get $16.
Yeah.
And maybe one or two of you are going to remember to use my link.
Yeah.
I definitely don't do it to make money.
Yeah.
Like, I wish people like, I mean, when you're as big as Gluck and Coop, like, yeah, like those small purchases matter. And the goal for me is to do YouTube full time. But I would like to transition into a little bit higher. I like doing the budget side of things because that's what most people are buying. But I would like to slowly transition. I have like a vision of kind of doing this marketplace find series where you find like old hoist machines, Cybex
Oh,
machines,
yeah.
and kind of doing like tinkering with those to
Well, that's
make
cool.
them better, or just to show, hey, like I found this. Kind of do more higher end machines eventually. I want to kind of like Coop has like a budget channel and then he has like a regular channel. That's kind of what I envision. I want more time, like for my YouTube content for like hacks and DIYs
Yeah.
because I do a lot of hacks and DIYs, but it's so hard to film. Like when you're building something,
Yeah.
it's so time consuming. And then when you build something and you share it, you're not making money off that video because it's not like they can use an affiliate link, you know?
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I'm an Amazon affiliate, so it's hard. I have to have a mix of things, but I definitely want to bring more value to my YouTube channel through the DIY and, marketplace finds and tips and tricks and stuff. But, I have a lot of companies sending me equipment right now that I'm on like a schedule for, so it
Yeah.
doesn't leave a lot of time to be creative. So I kind of miss there's a theme with me. I have to have like my creative time and, that's why I have like 3 businesses. I can't be locked down to a 9 to 5. Um, and so, yeah, my goal is to eventually transition into, bigger, better equipment, but also leave space and time for, the DIYs and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I love that. I think the only issue with the Facebook fines, which I really like that idea, is just the secondhand market is so crazy right now. And even our good
Oh my
buddy
gosh, it
John
is.
over at the refinery, like, man, you used to be able to find, an old Cybex machine or an old, Nautilus pull down or something for like $250 in somebody's
Oh
garage.
yeah.
It's like now these vendors are all just bulk purchasing stuff. John drives across the country multiple times a year to pick things up. And it's like, they find something on Facebook Marketplace for $200 and they turn around, throw some gloss on it, and now it's 5,000 again. So it's like,
Well, and even in this last year, like I've noticed a huge like I used to be able if I was like constantly refreshing marketplace because I would check like every couple hours to like get something. Like you could usually like once a month find like a still. And now like it's like almost like I don't even want to refresh because I know that there's nothing there. Like
yeah.
it's
So
yeah.
a few years ago, maybe it's like 5 or 6 years ago now, I was looking to acquire some equipment, and a buddy of mine is like a nut, like a home gym nut. He has a gym too, but he's just like purchased stuff all through the years, like before the secondhand market really blew up. And he sent me this link, and I remember I flew out to Colorado. It was in this guy's house in the basement. So he had bought this house from this guy that had died that was like an oil tycoon. And the entire basement, he had a full line of Nautilus Gen 1. So it was like 15 pieces.
Dang.
Yep. He was going to sell it to me for $2,000 for all 15 pieces. And
You said yeah.
some of those pieces, no, they were all perfect. I mean, they were pristine. The only person who had ever used them was the old guy that lived there before. But I
Yeah.
wasn't making great money at the time. I was still relatively early in my career, and it was going to cost me like $15,000 to ship it. So it was
Yeah.
like
And then all that work getting all those machines
all those
out.
machines. Yeah. And my buddy was willing to help me and stuff, but like we were going to have to legit get a semi, move it all out ourselves, do all of that. And it's like, could we have done it 100%? But it just like, then I have to put it in storage. I have no idea
That's
where
a
to put this
lot of
stuff.
logistics.
Yeah. But sometimes I like, are you familiar with the Nautilus Super Forearm? Do you know what that is?
Yeah.
Yeah. They had
Yeah.
one of those, which is like you can sell those for
You
by
messed
themselves.
up,
Like, yeah,
Logan.
I know, man. I totally messed up. No, if I could go back and do it all over, I would have just bought a storage unit in Colorado and like just got it there and figured it out. But I didn't know any better. And I was like, oh, you find stuff like this all the time. And honestly, 5 or 6 years ago, you could
Yeah, you
find
could.
full
Yeah.
lines like that for a couple grand. But yeah, I kick myself in the butt every day for that one. But yeah, it's kind of sad. But I do love that idea. I wonder if you could even like maybe team up with somebody like John at the refinery and just go in there and like tinker at his, gym. Like, cause he
He
just has that little
he,
storage
he
thing back
probably
there.
low key hates following my Instagram because of all like my budget equipment.
Yeah. Oh,
But
probably. Yeah. He's,
I mean, I've had a conversation with him before where I'm like, you know, obviously I would love to have like commercial grade equipment in here. I'd love to have Nautilus pieces and, Cybex and stuff, but it's just like when you have a garage, it's just not like you'd have to pick 2 or 3 machines and then
yeah.
be done. Like,
Yeah.
and that's just not the course that, is is that's not where life's taking me right now,
Yeah.
unfortunately. But like it's also fun to help people that are getting started on their home gyms. And at the end of the day, like, yeah, like I am a little bit of an equipment nerd, but I'm an even bigger nerd for helping people achieve their goals. And so the budget equipment if that's what they can afford and that's going to help them achieve their goals, then then I'm the prophet of budget equipment then.
I love that.
So be it.
So tell me a little bit about, like you mentioned, you're doing 15 to 20 hours per week as your personal trainer. I'd love to hear about kind of your style of training because you mentioned you worked at a big box gym. Did you get like ACSM or like some kind of
So I
certification?
have
And then
my
go ahead.
yeah, I have my NASM
Okay.
cert. And I actually didn't renew it recently.
Okay.
So technically I don't have it anymore, but I did have my NASM cert. And for me, like if I was to
Nobody
go back and
cares.
continue, yeah, exactly. If I was to go back and do it over again, like I would have liked to go to school for it. That would have been ideal just to learn more. Because I love learning. I'm just terrible at school. So the NASM at the time was like the best thing that I could do.
Yeah.
So yeah, now that I have like my own gym, like I don't need it. So if I was gonna go educate myself further, like I would definitely do it through either I don't know if you're familiar with Ashley the Amazing, but
Yeah.
she's been going back to
Yeah.
school
She's going to
and
Concordia.
so I'm
Yeah.
like yeah, so I would love to do something like that, but as of right now, like my style of training is based off of like what that person needs. So, for example, one of my favorite clients, I talk about him all the time, is he's 77 years old and he has neuropathy. So he has a hard time, like he can't really feel his like feet very well. And so when he walks, he's very like he scares the crap out of me. He should be using a cane. He 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 can't like stand still in the gym. He has to like be holding on to something. I've caught him a couple times. Like he scares the crap out of me. But like, I always tell him if you don't use it, you lose it. And so like a lot of our training is very simplistic. Like it's, getting up off the floor from like one knee, and like he's very quad dominant. So we work a lot of like glutes and we work a lot of hamstrings where he can't balance. I have to get really creative with the things that we do. I would love to have him do more athletic movements for balance, but when you have neuropathy, so we do what we can. So that's like, for training, it's definitely based on like what their goals are. I have an 18-year-old that like where he goes to PT as well because he tore his ACL. But a lot of the stuff we do is just like getting his like, his leg healthy to play hockey again. So we do a lot of like explosive movements like single leg jumps, like he's healed up enough to be able to start doing like small hops on his feet and stuff like that. So it really just depends. Most people like general population that just wants to lose 10 or 20 pounds, like we're doing like a push pull legs and I'm making sure they're progressing every week, making sure they're doing a little more weight, a little more reps, and based on their goals, that's going to do it for them.
Is it hour-long sessions that you're typically doing with people?
I would say they're like 45. We spend like 10 minutes, which I miss this. In the big box gym, you have 30 minutes. Other 30-minute sessions, you don't have it sucks because by the time you warm up, you have like 15 minutes. So so I usually do like a little like 2 or 3 movements. That's a circuit of like we'll do like banded pull aparts with like planks, just something to get, blood flow and then after that we kind of get into the meat and potatoes of things and do a push movement or a pull movement, whatever we're doing that day.
Got it. And then is it all one-on-one or do you do small groups at all?
So I do the biggest group that I do right now is like a group of 3. It's a mom, a dad, and a daughter. And they all come together, and luckily their goals are all pretty similar. But yeah, I have a lot of pairs. Like I have like a couple sets of sisters that come together.
Sister
Then
wives in
I
Utah? No.
no,
No?
nope, just sisters. But yeah, I wouldn't run it past Utah to have some sister wives floating around. I'd be like, cool, cool. So, but yeah, I have a few people that come together, and then I have a lot of one-on-ones.
And as far as like the long-term plans, you mentioned kind of transitioning out, like what is sort of your timeline? Do you always want to have one foot in training people like in person? Or if the YouTube channel blows up, like would you love to just be doing that full time? Like, do you have kind of a timeline or a game plan for the next, say, 3, 5, 10 years?
So I promised Lewis that I would train him till he passes away.
That's your 77-year-old, I assume. Yeah.
He said it, not me.
Okay.
He said it. um, He's like, but yeah, so basically I'll probably have at least one, like, because the clients I train now, I've been training for a couple years. Like, I don't look for more clients. The clients that I've had for a really long time and are really consistent. And that's like the best. If you're a personal trainer out there, you know how frustrating it is to train someone for 3 months and then they're like, okay, you know, that's enough. Like it happens so much. So I'm definitely not looking for more clients, but I definitely want to keep the clients that I have now. I don't know if I mentioned this to you at Home Gym Con, but I'm looking to build a still building in my backyard.
Sweet, you
It's going to
didn't.
be a Okay, yeah, it's going to be a 30 by 40 foot. We just measured it out the other day and put the little pink string around where it's going to be.
Okay, nice.
And yeah, so we have like enough space in the yard to do that. And so that's going to allow me to have a more consistent space for like my machines that I want to keep consistent and I don't want to trade out with whatever I'm reviewing.
Got
And
it.
then it'll leave me enough space to have kind of a section where this is where I review equipment and test equipment
Got
out.
it. So maybe the
So,
the thing out there will be like your actual training studio as well, and then this
yep.
will kind of be
And
okay.
then my plan, yeah, and then my plan, it just depending on how much room I have and how it goes, my plan is to actually contract uh basically I have my handful of clients, but I want to contract the space out for other trainers to use because a pain point for me when I first became a personal trainer is getting a job and only getting paid like the $10 a session. So I kind of want to flip the script. I want to be like, pay me $10 to use my space, $10 every 30 minutes. These are arbitrary numbers, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
this
I know
isn't
what
my
you're
actual
saying. Yeah,
business
no,
plan.
no, I
But
gotcha.
yeah, so like they contract like the space so that they can make the amount of money that they want to make, and
Love
then
it.
I just kind of like a booth rent almost.
Yeah,
Like
yeah. No,
you give
there's
me a
some
set amount of
concepts like
money.
that out there already. That's
Yeah,
great. Yeah,
yeah, because I have a couple friends that are out here that are trainers, and they just have a really hard time like making money and knowing where to go. And not everyone has like the money to like front to get a home gym or start
yeah.
building a home gym. And so that's
Or the
kind of like
space.
that's like my yeah, that's like my 3-year plan is to get that built. I want to pay cash for it. I don't want to finance it. So basically year one's going to be laying the cement. Year two is going to be purchasing the building, and then year three is going to be all the rest.
Love it. That's smart. That's awesome. Well, that's super cool. Well, I'd love to see that once it actually comes together. I'm sure it'll be cool. And you've already got so many cool things in your home gym. I'm sure like it'll be tricked out to the extreme when you're actually in there.
I was going to say there's going to be plenty of equipment to put into it, but you know, we got to do the flooring and the
Yeah.
walls and the electricity and all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure you can probably get some good, hopefully as the channel grows and stuff too, get some good sponsors to, maybe well, you can have this. You can do the flooring in KPEX Home Gym Lab
Yeah.
if you want. Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yep.
Well, cool. Well, I think it's just so cool to one hear your story. Like I love that because I've been in fitness for a long time. Like I've been working out since I was 15. I went to school for journalism technically, but I had a minor in personal fitness. So like I always kind of knew that I was going to get or stay involved in training in some capacity. But because I've been around it for so long, I'm always still like shocked that people don't know what calories are or like they don't know like how to count their macros or whatever it is. Even I've been doing it for almost 10 years now, like as a personal trainer, as a job. And I'm still like, oh yeah, I got to remember that people don't know this stuff. So to hear your story of like coming from that and actually having that experience and then transitioning to like, oh my God, I got so fat. And then now I need to figure it out and just going and learning it and doing it. Obviously, most people don't have the drive, the ambition, maybe the time to actually do all that stuff. So I think that probably positions you really well to kind of have this, like, I get where you're coming from aspect. And that's one thing, like, I don't know if I've told you this before, but I'm in recovery. So I've been sober for almost 10 years as well. And like,
Congrats.
thank you. Even when I was drinking, like I still went to the gym 3 days a week. Like I'm been vain my entire life. Like I never wanted to get fat. So I don't have a cool, like, I mean, I kind of looked shitty when I was like at the end. Like it's definitely, swollen and didn't look great, but like I still had abs. Right. So
Yeah.
I've never had that, like, here's my awesome before and after picture that I could share with people. But for you, like you showed me your before and I was like, God damn, and then to
Yeah, a lot of
see,
people are like, they're like, is that the same person? I'm like, yeah, believe it or not, that's
yeah.
that's chubby Kinsey.
Yeah, yeah. No, but it's just so powerful and like it's such a good connection to actually have with people who feel like when they see somebody who's as fit as you are or in shape like I am, they think like that person doesn't know what it's about. Like they don't know what it's like to be me. And I'm envious of people who have that experience, like you do, because it really gives you another whole level to like empathize and understand people of like, no, I actually do get it. I actually was there. I did have a kid and treated my body like crap and I was able to turn it
hmm
around, which means if I can do it, you can do it. So I think that's awesome.
And empathy really is the key word there because we talked a little bit about this at home gym con, like how I had a really bad eating disorder. I would do really good on my diet for a week and then I would just like I couldn't take it anymore. And like food was just the forefront. It just took over my life. And then if I wasn't thinking about food, I was beating myself up for not doing good on my diet. And a lot of people struggle with that. A lot of people struggle with that. So when I first start training them, they really do come to me like a little bit broken. Like and they explain their story. And most of the time they don't even know where I started. So I say, hey, just so you know, like I do get it. I was over 200 pounds. I had a hard time tying my shoe. I had a hard time going up the
I
stairs.
couldn't put
Like
my jeans
I
on.
I couldn't put my flipping jeans on. Yeah, exactly. So that empathy is really the key word because unless you've really struggled and like you can relate it to how you struggled with drinking, like unless you've been there, you just don't know the pain that comes with it.
And I've been fortunate enough throughout my career too, where I've had that experience with plenty of clients, whether it's with them struggling with their drinking or eating. And obviously, you can kind of empathize with both similar situations of addiction and how they manifest itself in our lives. But when people know that you can be vulnerable with them and you can share those times in your own life when you've struggled, it just makes such a big difference. And again, like they see these people that have seemingly have it all together. And as you and I both know, I'm sure like anybody who looks like they has it together is fucking lying because nobody has it together.
And usually they're miserable because
Yeah. It-
their body fat percentage is so low.
yeah, yeah. But no, to be able to communicate with those people and really understand, like, hey, no, I get it. Like, it might not be the same thing that you went through, but I do know what it means to struggle. It just makes such a big difference in really connecting with people. So I think that's awesome. Well, let's switch gears just a little for our listeners who aren't familiar with the home gym space. Obviously, you've kind of talked about that a little. I do want to talk about Home Gym Con because you were kind of a celebrity this year. I know you and Ashley hosted your own little Q&A. Obviously we met last year. In your own words, for those that don't know, what is Home Gym Con and why do you feel the need to go every year? What do you love about it?
So, Home Gym Con is basically, we touched on this a little bit in the beginning, but it's a bunch of nerds about equipment that come together once a year. You don't have to be a nerd about equipment to attend. You could generally have an interest in building out a home gym. And, if you have a hard time shopping for what equipment, because there's tons of home gym equipment out there, it's starting to get really popular. So, if you kind of are overwhelmed at looking at gym equipment online and you actually want to get your hands on it and you have an interest in having some fitness equipment at your house, then Home Gym Con is an amazing event to attend. And yeah, like you might have to pay for flights to get out to Kentucky, but that's better than having buyer's remorse and
for
getting
for
fitness
not
equipment
trying
that you
something?
don't love.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So if you're someone who has a general interest in getting a home gym together, then Home Gym Con is it. And there are plenty of people there that can help you. Everyone has an opinion about everything. So, so if you ever need help purchasing equipment or knowing what to get, Home Gym Con is a great event to go to. But on from not an outsider's perspective, it's a bunch of nerds getting together, nerding out with different equipment. And so I really love it. I think for me, this year, I don't know. Last year, I got a lot of FOMO for like not filming a lot and like seeing everyone's YouTube videos pop up. And then this year, I told myself, because for those of you that don't know, I went as part of the media team, and like my job is just to cover the booths there and to kind of post on social media to show, hey, this machine was at this booth and this is what it does type thing. And so that was my job. And I feel like I did that really well. It's just overwhelming when you get home and you have all that media to go through and edit. So I'm a little bit of a noob there. So I think next year I'll have a little bit better of a plan. But for me, it's important to go to connect with everyone who's been following me on YouTube, asking me questions all year long. So that's like my main reason why I go outside of filming. I want to go because I want to meet the people I've been talking to on Instagram and talking to on YouTube. And it was just such a fun experience, like, especially from going last year to this year. It was a huge jump for people that knew who I was, and so that was really cool, and it's just very humbling. I don't feel like, "Oh my gosh, everyone loves me," but it's also like, I feel so humbled and blessed that this many people, like, care enough to say hi to me and have been following my channel. It's just awesome. It was a huge. I had, like, maybe, like, 1 to 3 people, the first year that I went, stop me, and then I feel like this year it was, like, nonstop.
Well, I mean, every time I
there
saw
wasn't
you, there was people coming up to you. Yeah.
there wasn't a time that I wasn't having a conversation, which I love to yap, so I was in my element.
Yeah.
It was so fun.
Yeah, no, it's super cool, and I think they did a great job last or this year. Last year was great too. I think it was more equipment focused this year than it was last year. Like there was a lot of kind of t-shirt brands and more just random stuff there last year, it seemed like, where this year it was,
Yeah,
50, 60, 70, maybe it was 80 different equipment brands, big ones. I mean, from commercial grade stuff like Prime. Obviously, Temple of Gains is like kind of in the middle between commercial and home, and then you've got the other
yeah,
brands you would know like Rep and all of those other companies. ATX had an awesome booth again this year. So just equipment, gym accessories. I think the biggest thing for me, because I started in a studio that had really high end equipment, so like all Nautilus, Medex. I don't know if you know what Medex is.
Ooh,
Yeah. So like I thought of myself as an equipment nerd. So I remember the first time I went to Home Gym Con, I was like, this is like what this is like cheap Chinese stuff. And I don't mean that to be like mean, but it was like I was just
yeah,
brought up on like Medex and all this stuff. And then the longer I've been
yeah, of
kind of
course,
in the
yeah.
industry, the more I realized like this whole industry really and correct me if you think I'm wrong on this, but it's like it's really spawned up out of the need for making the most of a small space, right? Like most people don't have a 1,200 square foot building that they're putting in their backyard. They have maybe a single stall of their garage. What are most people going to get when they start a home gym? A power rack, right? Okay, well, if they are going to get a leg press of some kind, they can't really afford to just like literally afford because it's too expensive or space wise afford to just get like a Medex Avenger leg press. So what are they going to get?
Exactly.
Well, you got to combine stuff. You need a hack squat leg press combo. And then somebody like Temple of Gains comes around and makes like a monster hack squat leg press combo, right? But when I really started to look at it through that lens of like, okay, it's not just about like, are these the best biomechanics? It's like, can I use this piece in multiple different ways? And then I'm not a huge fan of like bulletproof stuff. I think all their stuff is amazing. I don't have a power rack. So like the attachments and
Yeah.
everything, but I absolutely love Larry's ingenuity because
Oh, yeah.
again, thinking of from like, you only have a power rack, maybe you have one stall of a garage. You can have an entire commercial home gym with just a power rack if you buy every one of
Thank you,
Larry's
Larry.
pieces. Yeah. Like, so when you think of it through that mindset of like, the creativity. Like when you go into just a commercial gym, all these new brands, like I love them, Mega Mass, all these companies that have sprung up and are making really cool stuff. They're all making essentially the same stuff. And there's a lot of replication in the home gym space too.
Yeah.
But then there's some really cool, like interesting things that people are doing, or they're just like shrinking down pieces where it's like, yeah, it might not be the best biomechanically, but it's like, I can
Yeah.
fit like I think of ATX's pendulum squat. It's like, is it the best pendulum squat ever made? Probably not. But it's like 3 feet long. And it's
It's
freaking
yeah,
awesome.
it's pretty compact. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
like that was one of the pendulums I got to get on and try, and I
Yeah.
was like, gosh, because like a pendulum squat is like on the top of my
Yeah.
like wish list, but I just can't fit it in my garage. Like I try to keep my equipment consistent for my clients, like I try to keep like my squat rack I've luckily had for like 6 months now. Like I try to keep things so that way they're not constantly having to relearn,
Learn new stuff. Yeah, for sure.
yeah, new equipment, new stuff. Because people that aren't familiar with gym equipment, it's kind of scary to climb into a pendulum squat. Like
Yeah.
they're like,
Yeah.
what is this thing? So it can be intimidating. So I try to have like, things that are not intimidating for my clients to use. And so the pendulum squat's gonna have to wait for the KPEX Home Gym Lab 2.0.
Yeah. But I don't know, the ATX is pretty cute. It's like a little baby
It is
pendulum
so
squat.
cute.
But
It's the
again,
cutest
like,
thing I've ever seen.
yeah, looked at through that frame of reference, it's like that's why I love going to Home Gym Con because there's so much
Yep.
creative stuff and like the dial motion. And I think it was Rep Collab or whatever this year. They have like the pec fly rear delt
So
slash
cool.
lateral raise slash. It does like 20 different things. So just the ingenuity that comes with the engineering when you're really limited on space, I absolutely love. With all of that in mind, what were some of your favorite offerings this year at the event? Like favorite booth, maybe? I know obviously Temple of Gains won. I personally am a little biased. I think they did
Yeah.
great. But what were some of your favorite things that you saw? Favorite pieces? I know you can't just pick one, but maybe walk us through a couple that really stood out to you.
Well, let's actually start with Temple of Gains. I thought it was really cool how you guys had the machines ran by the Voltra. And for anyone who's not familiar with the Voltra, it's like a little portable digital resistance system. So think about if you're traveling, basically to have, it's basically a cable machine in a time. What is it, like a pound or 2 pounds, something like that? I
They're
don't know.
actually pretty heavy. They're probably like five or
They
six
are
pounds. Yeah, they're kind of dense
okay.
if you pick one up, but still, it's small. Yeah, yeah.
But still, it's portable enough that you could take it with you places. But basically, Temple Gains had a really cool booth because you had this Voltra is starting to replace like weight stacks. So instead of having a machine with a weight stack, you have like a little iPad screen where you can select your weight. So I thought it was cool that you guys had that set up. Like, what did you have, like 6 to 8 machines that were ran by Voltra or
Yeah, I
something
think it
like
was
that?
five or six that were all connected. So we had the
Yeah, something like that.
multi-flight, leg extension, leg curl, the omni press, the hack squat leg press. I think there was maybe one more. Yeah, so five or six
Yeah,
that
I was
were
just saying
connected.
it. Yeah, so that was really cool. Really cool thought process of doing that, just showing people how it can be done.
Pendulum squat.
And then pendulum, yes, there we go. Then I really liked the Freak Athlete booth because I use my Hyper Pro a lot, especially when I'm training for a bodybuilding show. I just do like a lot of core work on it, a lot of Nordic curls. I'm a big Nordic curl fan, and so I thought they got a new Hyper Pro X, I believe it's called, and that thing is just so cool.
I
Definitely
didn't
gonna
get to
add that
try
to the
it,
home
but it
gym.
looks sweet. So for people who don't know the Freak Athlete, it's a super versatile bench. There's a couple companies that have kind of knocked them off in the last couple years, but they were, as far as I know, they were kind of the first ones that made like a multi-use bench for GHDs and it does leg extension, leg curl. Like it has all kinds of attachments on it, but it's
Yeah,
like notoriously complicated to set up. It has like 20 different switches and
knobs.
pulleys and stuff. Yeah, knobs, and they're all color
Yeah.
coded and stuff. And I think the new one has like two, right? Like it does basically
Yep.
all the same stuff, but just with two knobs.
And something I've always hated about the Hyper Pro is it's like black and silver, and then it has like all these cartoon looking colored knobs. Like it has drove me nuts, and I've like tried to replace them, but it's hard to find like, replacement knobs. I replaced one of them, but I'm just like, these knobs are just so goofy on here. It drives me nuts. But anyways, their new one has like the two knobs for the main adjustment system. But what I thought was, which no one really has been talking about it, the padding is completely different. And that the reason why that matters is because I've hurt my knees doing Nordic curls on the Hyper Pro. This new one, like the padding is so squishy, so your knees kind of like sink into it a bit. So there's
Yeah,
a
that's great.
lot more support for your knees when you do a Nordic curl. And no one's been talking about that, but the foam replacement on the new one is just it literally is night and day difference.
That's
Like
awesome.
it's gonna be a lot better to train Nordic curls on that. So I would really like that. Their dumbbells actually come second to that. I thought
Okay.
it was cool. The dumbbells, I knew that they have been working on those. I've been hearing about it for like the past 6 months, like secret whisperings.
Yeah.
So I knew what they were going to be. So like it was cool to see them in person and like that they were drop proof. I'm not as excited about adjustable dumbbells just because like I have dumbbells to 50 and my clients don't really use more than that. And I really like have never pressed more than 80 pounds. So I don't know if they'll be added to the gym or not, but it was cool to see. I really liked um there I'll talk about a product versus a booth. The glute slide was actually pretty cool.
Okay.
It's a little nerdy that I like that, but I thought it was pretty cool to train like more like athletic movements on the glute slide because I also do play women's tackle football
Oh, okay.
and yeah, and I've torn my quad and my hamstring playing,
Ugh.
and just because of like yeah, just because of like weakness and explosive movements. Like I've always lifted heavy weights, so I'm sure my muscles are like, "What the heck are you doing?"
Yeah.
Uh, so the glute slide was really cool, a really fun product that I enjoyed testing. Uh, there's just so many cool boosts. It's hard to like list what all of
Yeah.
them. I think it's cool.
Any other products that really stood out to you, like particular products?
Trying to think. It's like all a blur now.
I know, yeah. It was
I think the Speed Gym Nano is gonna be pretty cool.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
so that's
I want
go ahead.
we all wanna see a contender with Voltra just to, like, start bringing digital resistance costs down, and so I already have a Speed Gym Monster, which we talked a little bit about, and so it's really seamless to work the Nano because it's, like, the same as you
Yep.
work the Gym Monster, like the
Yeah.
sliding dial, and so that was really cool. That was one of my favorite products to test just because again, I knew it was coming, and it was nice to get hands on it and test it
So
out.
I love my gym monster. I feel like Expedience doesn't get enough love. I have a client that trains on tonal. I personally, like if I could replace every tonal with Expedience, I would. I think it's significantly better. Just from a user perspective too, and because there's no costs, like there's no monthly cost. And then I just use it free lift every time. So I don't actually
Yeah.
program anything. Yeah, just hop on
Yeah,
there.
me neither.
But I will say, and I think you saw this video that I posted the other day, like I was thinking about it already before I went to Home Gym Con, but then as soon as Yoni had the Voltra hooked up to everything, I was like, I gotta get this wide
I
body
gotta
bench.
try it.
It's been sitting on Facebook Marketplace for like 6 weeks. And I messaged the guy as soon as we got back, and I'm like, yo, I gotta pick that up. And it worked out so good. I can't recommend it enough. So just like hooking
So
that up. Go ahead.
so you like the wide body bench a lot?
I did. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, it's a little it's kind of awkward to hook stuff up, right? But it's an ingenious product. Like, I mean, it's really well made. But it's like, you got to undo the thing, and it's like it just takes some
It's
time in between.
attachments and
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But it's really cool. I mean, it replaces, it's basically like the GMWD or anybody else that's doing like a multi press. So you essentially get a multi
Yeah.
press, you get a pec fly, which I'm actually going to try to tinker around with it and see if I can get it to do like a lateral raise too. I think I might be able to
Oh,
find
there
the
you
right
go.
angle to do that. And
Yeah.
then I absolutely love the bicep curl on it. So it's got a bicep curl attachment too.
Yeah, that one looks cool.
It was
They're
sweet.
supposed to be sending me one.
A
Uh
wide body bench?
yeah, so they're
Oh,
supposed to be
nice.
sending me one out like any day. He keeps messaging me and he's like, "Yeah, like I'm gonna ship it out this week." And that was like the week of Home Gym Con.
Okay.
And then like this week he's like, "Oh, I'm shipping." So maybe
Yeah. Yeah.
maybe I'll get it.
So I got some. I can send you the link. I almost wish I didn't even order them because the little ankle cuffs I use worked out fine. But I
Worked good.
got some Rogue clips that I'm going to put on there that have like they're basically for
Gotcha.
chains. Like if you want to throw chains on a barbell kind of thing, they're for that. And I was like, oh, that'll be more sturdy. But you should 100% try it on the Speediance. I mean, I was doing like 30 pounds on the pec fly and it was heavy AF. So it's like,
Yeah.
for those
Yeah.
of you who don't know, with the digital resistance on the Speediance, it goes up to 110 on each side, so 220 total. Like I don't see myself maxing that thing out, and that's going to be my new go-to part of my routine. So I'm excited to keep tinkering around with that for sure. What do you look for, Kinzi, when it comes to home gym equipment? Is it something that has multiple uses, like we're just talking about there? Is it footprint? Is it a combination of both? Does it depend on the piece? Like, what are some of your thoughts?
So I always like if it's gonna be big and take up a lot of space, it has to do two things, at least. That's kind of like the rule. And then I look for machines that solve a problem for me because I think a lot of us in the home, since I don't have a lot of space, obviously I would love to have a dedicated chest machine, a dedicated, leg machine, blah, 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 so on and so forth. But I look for a machine that can solve a problem for me. So For example, like the Spedients, I love doing overhead press on the Spedients. Like I have cranky shoulders, most of us do. And so it just feels really nice to do it on, the Spedients. So if it's a machine that I'm like, okay, well, I can't really do barbell back squats anymore because, it hurts my lower back. Obviously, I'm going to be looking for a leg press. But if that leg press is going to take up a lot of room, it has to also do a hack squat. So that's kind of the rule of thumb, what I look for in gym equipment. At this point, I really do feel like I have everything that I need. There's not much more I want to add to the gym, which is something I thought I would like never say. I don't feel finished necessarily. I don't feel finished. I know there's going to be like cool stuff, but as far as like body parts covered, like at this point, I have 2 chest press machine. I have a hip abductor machine, leg extension, leg curl machine, an ab machine, lat pull down tower, squat rack. And then the Expedients, Gym Monster, plus all the little things in between, kettlebells. So it's just like I really do have all my bases covered. At this point, I'm just trying to optimize.
I love
Like if
that.
there's a better chest press machine, I'll eventually upgrade.
You'll
But
have
I'm
to.
sitting on this hoist multi press, and
Okay,
this
nice.
thing is the goat.
Okay.
So it
Is it
has
like
it
a
has free
free
arms.
moving? Okay, nice.
Yeah, so I'm like, let me do a couple reps. No, so
Yeah.
it has like free arms right here,
Okay.
and then so you can do chest flies, you can do presses,
Do the
you can do
handles turn
incline.
too?
So they kind of do.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. I just
So
meant
this is
for
more for like
pec
chest
flies.
fly.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Gotcha.
Yep,
Okay, cool.
yep. So I freaking love this thing. Like I've never gotten such a good, and obviously the arms converge because they're
Yep.
free. I've never gotten such a good like chest pump with any other machine. This is
Okay.
just awesome. I thought maybe once I got the GMWD one that I would like maybe sell like this one, but I
Yeah.
actually like this one better.
Okay.
So
Nice. So
yeah,
you've got the multi press from GMWD then as well.
yeah,
Got it. Cool.
yeah.
Yeah, you're gonna have to give me a little tour. I mean, I'm sure I could find it on your Instagram, but since we're here, we'll have to look around. Oh, perfect. Okay.
So we
Yeah,
got
this is sweet.
the GMWD over there. I
Yeah,
got like a little ab machine right there, leg curl machine.
sweet.
Got the Temple of Gains multi-fly,
Multi-flight.
obviously.
Nice.
That's the Epic squat rack.
Okay.
This is the Getter X one. And then I
Did
got a
you give
French
your
sport
brother
leg.
the Temple of Gains one already?
Yeah, so
Nice.
I just actually texted him this morning asking him when he's going to be home. He's been at military training all month. And he's like, I'm coming home Sunday, so I have to go like build it tomorrow for him
Oh,
because I'm like, he's prepping for a bodybuilding show for October because
okay.
he's hoping to qualify for nationals to go with me in
Okay.
December.
Nice.
So I don't want to leave this man high and dry with no squat rack because I sold his while he was gone
Oh,
for
okay.
him
Okay.
because he's like, will you sell my squat rack for me? And blah, blah. I was like, of course. And then I'm like, I got to go build the Temple of Gains one for him because I'll be really sad if he comes home. He's like, I can't even work out. I don't have a squat rack put
Yeah.
together.
Oh, that's funny. That's funny.
So yeah, I got
Um,
to go over to his house and build it for him.
Nice. That's awesome. As we're kind of wrapping up here, what is something you would maybe like to see at Home Gym Con to help them keep improving in the future? Anything you notice that like was maybe lacking or not even lacking, but just like, what we could really do that would take it to the next level? Anything that kind of pops out to you?
I just wish we could get this like more smaller brands there because obviously not everyone is shopping for a squat rack. Like, because again, if they have like a small space in their garage, like I want to get like small companies like Bullet Pulley out there or like, just companies that kind of fall in between the cracks and companies like where people could visit Home Gym Con and buy something, from there. And because it's always fun coming back from a convention when you get like,
When you get some
free
stuff.
stuff or you can purchase stuff.
Yeah.
With gym equipment, it's not very easy to be like, oh, like yeah, you can order stuff there,
Yeah.
but like tangible items that you can come home with,
Or you
like
can
I
bring
got
a
a few
truck
cable
and
attachments.
just drive
Yeah,
drive it
yeah.
away.
Or you can stop being a little baby and
Yeah,
bring a
just drive your
truck.
truck, bro.
Yeah, so I just like more smaller companies, I think. I don't even think I know you said that you liked it better, that it was, more equipment geared this year, but I wouldn't mind like a couple like sprinkled in there like supplement brands and
Yeah, for sure.
pre-workout brands.
I
So
think it was because there was really only like one supplement brand, and I think there was only like
yeah,
Barbell Voodoo who was selling stuff. I just think, yeah, maybe finding a blend of those two. And I imagine it's probably just what happened from last year to this year. Like maybe those companies just didn't see the value in it. But for sure, I'd love to see like Jocko and a bunch of other, supplement companies there. I think they would clean up, and people love to get free samples and stuff. It's just a great way to get your name out there. And then I love the apparel stuff. I just think it's, at least from what I remember from last year, there was just so many really small ones that didn't even have a bunch of stuff to sell. Where it was like getting some larger, retailers in there, I think would be cool.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
like for example, it's funny because I I've been going back and forth on saying something, but like you saw buffed stuffed animals there.
What were they?
Did you see that booth? Buff stuffed
No, I
animals.
didn't see those.
Okay. Okay, so there's a booth and they have like 6 different animals and they're like buff. Like
They're
they
buff.
have
I
like
get it. Yeah,
pecs
I put
and
it together. Yeah, that's cute.
which is
Yeah, I
hilarious.
love
It's
that.
so cute. And like literally 2 weeks before Home Gym Con, like I kept thinking like I can't wait to go and get a buff
A
stuffed
buff
animal to
salmon.
bring home
Yeah.
for my daughter. And I go to buy one and they're like, "Oh, you have to pre-order them."
Yeah.
I walked away so upset because I was like, "Why would you not have some inventory?" I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
I don't know like the whole story or what they, but I'm just like, "Come on." Like I feel like they would have sold a bunch if they
yeah.
had some on
If
hand
I'd have seen
because
that, I would have
people are
bought one.
looking.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are looking for stuff that they, at least me, like I when I go to conventions, like I'm there to shop. I know I'm
Yeah.
gonna spend money.
Put something in the gym when
So
you get back.
I
Yeah.
yeah, so the second they were like, "Oh, you have to pre-order," I like, and guess what? I haven't pre-ordered because
Yeah.
I wanted it. I
I
wanted
wanted
it
it
right
there.
then.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Or
and I
like
wanted to
give
bring
a
it
few
home.
away at
So
least. Yeah, get some emails and stuff.
something,
Yeah. Oh no, that's
something.
good. Okay, awesome, Kinsey. Well, thank you so much for joining me. If people want to learn more or find your content, what's the best way to follow you to get in touch?
So I'd say I'm most active on Instagram, and it's at KPEX Home Gym Lab. And that's my same YouTube handle as well. I post my main equipment reviews on my YouTube, but if you are interested in, if you're interested in fitness equipment at all, or DIYing, or how to get stuff cheap on Marketplace, or how to diet, like I do it all on my Instagram. I post like, I'm probably annoying. I post like 12 stories a day.
Jeez.
So you will learn, yeah, you'll learn a lot if you follow me on Instagram. So that's my only handle. Should work for Instagram and YouTube.
Anything else you want to share before I let you go?
Nope. You're
Awesome.
awesome.
This
That's
was
what I want to
great.
share.
You're
Thanks for
awesome.
having
Thank you,
me.
Kinsey. Yeah, I really appreciate you taking the time. I appreciate everyone listening. Make sure you give Kinsey a follow. If you're into home gym equipment, or if this podcast got you jazzed up about it, make sure you come to Home Gym Con next year and you can ask Kinsey some questions in person. Kinsey, thank you so much. Thanks
Oh, yeah.
everyone for listening. We'll be back in a couple weeks with another episode of Exercise is Bullshit.